The warning. The screen flickers to life, revealing grainy VHS footage. A monochrome image of a stern-faced doctor appears, standing beside the cold branding of a pharmaceutical logo. His lab coat is pristine, but his eyes betray urgency. Attention, citizens. If you or someone you know has taken the experimental antidepressant Euphorix, discontinue use immediately. Side effects may include mania, uncontrollable laughter, facial deterioration, and violent outbursts. If symptoms persist, quarantine the affected individual. Do not approach, do not make eye contact, and whatever you do, do not let them smile at you. The image warps and dissolves into static. Then, with a mechanical click, the first tape begins. Tape 1. The First Patient. Dr. Elias Carter had devoted a decade to mental health innovation. Euphorix was his magnum opus, a neurochemical designed to eliminate depression by permanently stimulating the brain's reward center. Patient 0 was Lisa Morrow, a bright, soft-spoken literature student with a history of treatment-resistant depression. Her first 2 days on Euphorix showed promising results. She reported feelings of euphoria, boundless energy, and renewed interest in life. Her smile was radiant, genuine. By day 3, the smile was still there, but something had changed. Nurses noted Lisa's giggling during the night, a wet, throaty chuckle echoing from her room. On the morning of day 4, her lips appeared cracked and bleeding. She refused food, but couldn't stop smiling. One nurse, Marianne, tried to approach with sedatives. Lisa's jaw unhinged with a sickening pop. She lunged, biting down on Marianne's neck, tearing into arteries like a ravenous animal. Security intervened, but even under the convulsions of a taser, Lisa laughed. A deep, guttural, inhuman sound. Dr. Carter reviewed the footage later. Lisa's face twitching in spasms, her skin slackening, her eyes dimming, yet her grin stretched unnaturally wide, splitting at the corners. The final frame, a static freeze of Lisa's distorted face, her blood-slicked teeth bared in an obscene parody of joy. Tape 2. The Family. A week later, Euphorix samples were still circulating. The Martinez family, residents of suburban Illinois, received a free trial from a door-to-door representative. They were skeptical, but Father Martinez, dealing with undiagnosed depression, decided to try it. Home security footage shows him on the evening of day 1. He sits at the dinner table, hands trembling, face twitching. He murmurs jokes to himself. His smile spreads, showing gums that look strangely darker than before. His wife, Elena, pleads with him to stop. He responds with a giggle, a high, cracked sound. Moments later, young Sophia begins to laugh too. Her tiny frame convulses as her laughter turns from joyous to piercing, then to shrieking. The footage becomes erratic. The camera tilts, capturing shadows moving erratically, the family writhing in unnatural spasms. Glass shatters. Screams blend into the horrifying chorus of overlapping laughter. Police body cams reveal the aftermath. The Martinez family huddled in a fetal pile in the living room, their faces contorted into permanent bloody smiles, jaws locked open, fingernails torn away. One officer turns to a corner. Movement. A blur. Something scuttles. Not quite human. Not quite gone. Tape 3. The Quarantine Zone. As outbreaks multiplied, the CDC created Q zones, entire neighborhoods fenced off, left to rot. One such zone in Detroit became infamous. A local news crew breached the perimeter, cameras rolling. The streets were deserted. Cars sat with doors open, their drivers still inside. Grinning corpses buckled in. Children's toys lay abandoned. But laughter echoed through alleyways. Reporter Casey Lynn narrates in a whisper. They're not dead. They're waiting. A twitching man lay against a wall, smile frozen, eyes glazed. As the crew passed, his body spasmed, his chest convulsed, and from within, something ruptured. A cloud of gray spores burst forth, glittering in the air. The cameraman dropped the equipment, coughing. The last images were blurred, crew members vomiting, clawing at their own faces, laughing. Laughter, layered and overlapping, overtook the mic. The camera tilted, capturing dozens of figures emerging from buildings, smiling. Always smiling. Tape 4. The research facility. A group of whistleblower scientists leaked this tape, an inside look at the Euphorix production facility. Rows of patients, sedated and strapped to chairs, lines hooked into their arms. Monitors flashed with erratic brainwaves. Doctors took notes calmly, as if this horror was routine. In one segment, a subject named Walter is shown with his face partly peeled back, muscles twitching yet laughing. Electrodes pump Euphorix directly into his frontal lobe. Pleasure threshold surpassed, a researcher mutters. Walter's laughter turns into howling. One researcher panics, pulling his own hair. He breaks protocol, removes Walter's restraints. The patient lunges, gnawing on the doctor's ear as the others scream. One female subject, long presumed catatonic, begins humming a lullaby in reverse. The feed ends with crimson-red warning screens. Project terminated. Tape 5. The Smile Cult. Months later, underground groups began worshipping the affected. They called them the Blessed. A recovered home video shows a congregation in a basement. Candles flicker. People chant, faces painted with red smiles, eyes wide. A man, Brother Thomas, addresses the camera. They found joy beyond fear, pain, and doubt. Join us. Let Euphorix open your grin to the stars. He injects himself. Moments later, his face jerks. Muscles pull tight. A smile tears his lips at the corners. He screams joyfully as blood pours down his chin. The room descends into chaos. Some convulse. Others cheer. A woman begins tearing her face with her nails, laughing. The camera falls, the chanting continues, then silence. Epilogue. The final warning. The screen turns to static. Then a distorted voice, warped by degradation, speaks through the white noise. If you see someone smiling too wide, run. If you hear laughter in the walls, burn the house down. If you find these tapes, destroy them, before they find you. The screen cuts to black. But as you sit there, breath held, the silence doesn't last. Somewhere behind you, faint and wet, someone is laughing. The end.